Country Cookin'. I'm your hostess, Cindy Schumacher. On today's show, we'll be making oven Swiss steak, party potatoes, farmhouse cheddar muffins, and lethal layers. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the Swiss steak since that takes the longest. I have 1.5 pounds of Swiss steak here. I've got 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to combine those. And then we're going to pound it into the meat. This is already tenderized. I bought it that way. But we're going to pound this in a little bit. I'm going to get 2 tablespoons of Crisco shortening going there on the stove. Since this is already tenderized, I don't need to use the the tenderizing part of my mallet. Just pound it in. Flip it over. I've cut this into kind of small serving pieces. It's always easier to take a small piece and then take another one if you want than if you have a great big one and then you have a little bit of it sitting on your plate. Okay. We'll get it going in the stove here. This is kind of a different twist on the normal Swiss steak with the mushroom and creamy gravy. It's more of a red sauce. It's a little healthier. And then it's already got your vegetables in with it, which is kind of fun. And then I normally serve this with just plain old mashed potatoes. And you can even make gravy on the side. This actually, you can use the sauce that this will make and just pour it over your potatoes too. So it might be something that you would like to try. And if you want a copy of this recipe, just give the girls a call at Valley if you don't have internet. If you have internet, go to the Valley homepage, and on the right hand side you'll see a cow. You click on that cow and that's where the recipes are. So we're going to let that brown a little bit. I have 5 pounds of potatoes that I have peeled and cubed, and we've got those boiling on the stove so that we can make our party potatoes. I'm going to clean up. We'll be right back.
Blazing fast broadband internet from Valley is now available and better than ever. Let us help you decide which speed is best for you. The 50 meg speed would be sufficient for 1 to 4 devices, mainly emailing and surfing the web. Our 100 meg speed works great for 5 to 8 devices and multiple users streaming and downloading video. If you have 8 devices or more that are simultaneously streaming or gaming, or if you have a medium-sized business, the 250 meg speed would work best for you. For extreme heavy home or work from home use, or if you have a medium to large business using 15 or more devices, you may want to consider our 500 meg download speed to fit your needs. And if you're a home or business that needs it all, we have our 1000 meg, 1 gig broadband internet speed. Call our office today at 437-2615 and talk with one of our staff members to pick the speed that's best for you.
So we're ready to transfer our Swiss steak to our baking dish. Okay, now to the drippings, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. We'll try to loosen up some of that. Cook for a minute. Okay, I'm going to stir in the can of tomatoes, diced tomatoes with the juice. I'll loosen that up a little more. I'm going to add a teaspoon of Worcestershire, and then we're going to start browning the vegetables. I've got a cup of onions that I have diced. cup of sliced carrots, and a cup of diced celery. And we're going to let that cook for a few minutes. Okay, in the meantime, my potatoes are done, so we're going to drain those. And then we're going to whip those. I've already put my cream cheese in there, but I'm going to take that out for just a second. I'm going to toss in 2 tablespoons of butter and whip these up a little bit. Now if you really want your potatoes without any lumps, it seems like no matter what, when you make potatoes from scratch, you're going to have a few lumps. You can use a potato ricer. Being that this is kind of a country recipe, a country style of a Swiss steak and everything, I'm just going to let the lumps be in there. I think it kind of gives it a little more of an old-fashioned taste. If I were making a really fancy dinner or something, I would probably rice my potatoes. Okay, now to this I'm going to add cream cheese. I've got a cup of sour cream. Need a measuring spoon here. This uses a combination of salts, so we're going to use an 1/8 teaspoon of garlic salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion salt, teaspoon of regular salt, table salt, it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to put more closer to a half or even a little bit more than that, because I kind of like things a little pepperier. I'm going to check it for seasoning again, just to make sure we've got enough of everything in there. Yep, it's good. Okay, I'm going to transfer this to a baking dish. We're going to get cleaned up and we'll be right back.
Get 3 months free access on all lines, plus a new 4G smartphone for only $4.99 a month. 2 great offers with Valley Cellular. Call Valley today at 437-2615 to take advantage of this great deal.
Okay, we're gonna get the Swiss steak going here. And we're just pour everything right over the top. Spread it around. Cover this with the foil for the first part of while it bakes, just to kind of seal in the juices and everything. This will bake for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. Okay, we have the oven set at 350. We're going to transfer the potatoes to a bowl here, or a 9x13 pan, and we'll wait and we'll put that in closer because this only takes a half an hour because it's basically ready. So just gonna put it in half an hour and bake it. We'll wait a little bit so that it's done at the same time that the Swiss steak is done. I'm going to sprinkle this with a little bit of paprika too. I always like a little bit of the color. But that'll... And we'll set it aside and put it in just a little bit. So we'll get started on the farmhouse muffins. You can use muffin or cupcake liners if you want to. I like it with this, it just, because it makes kind of a crispy crust, and so it makes a little more delicious muffin. Okay, we're going to work on the muffins. We're going to start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I need a tablespoon of baking powder. A teaspoon of salt, and a half teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to whisk these together. I always like to whisk together my dry ingredients. They say you don't need to, but it's just one of those things I do just to make sure that everything's evenly incorporated. Okay, so now we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. I have a beaten egg, a half cup of milk, a half cup of sour cream, third cup of butter melted. Just give me a second here. And mix these together while we're waiting for the butter. I need 2 tablespoons of sugar. It's a thick batter, and it'll make kind of lumpy muffins, but it just kind of lends itself to your country meal that you're making. Check that. Okay, now I'm going to toss in a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. Okay, now I have 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. You can use dill if you don't have parsley on hand, and you can use dried parsley. You can use dried dill if you'd rather do chives, but I'm using parsley. And then I have a 1/4 cup of onions here that I've sauteed in butter, just to soften them up a little bit so they can bake up a little nicer in there. Okay, I sprayed some muffin tins. If you want to use muffin liners, you can. Like I said, you just, if you prefer to do it that way, I'm going to just put it right in the pan, and then you get kind of a crispy crust on the muffins. And then a lot of times when you use a liner, part of your muffin gets stuck to the paper. This makes about a dozen. I did pretty good. I thought I was going to run short. Okay, we're going to wait just a few more minutes too, so we can get the muffins. They'll come out of the oven. They'll be hot at the same time everything else gets done. So we'll set those aside. I'm going to clean up, and we'll be back and do the lethal layers. But I want to remind you again, if you want a copy of any of these recipes, give the girls a call at Valley. They'd be happy to get you a copy if you have the internet. Go to the Valley home page. On the right, you'll see the cow. You click on that. That's where they're at. I'll be right back.
Valley is now offering updated digital TV packages and prices. High definition and caller ID is now free with all TV packages. Call Valley today at 437-2615 to find out more.
Okay, we're going to get started on our lethal layers. I'm starting out with a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter. To that, I'm going to add a cup of all-purpose flour and a 1/2 cup of dark brown sugar, firmly packed. And we're going to blend this with a pastry blender. If you have a food processor or something with a pastry hook on it, you can do that. This is easier for me. I don't have one. This works fine. Just make sure you get it well blended. Okay. I've sprayed this pan with Pam. We're going to pat it in. And then we're going to bake it for 10 minutes. Just get the crust set. Okay, looks pretty good. I'm going to get it going. Take a quick break.
Valley Telecommunications is pleased to announce that our Technology Solutions Center is fully stocked and open for business. We have a large selection to meet your wants and needs. Some of the items we currently carry are a variety of corded and cordless phones, different brands of tablets such as Kindle Fires and Apple iPads and all the accessories for them, Telekin computers, Epson and HP printers and ink cartridges, Apple iPods and accessories, office supplies, wireless keyboards and mice, cellular phones and accessories, different types of media storage, cameras, headphones, power strips and surge protectors, and much, much more. You can also get your very own Valley swag. Our prices are reasonable and comparable to any other retail store. If there is something that you want or need that we do not currently carry, please let us know so that we can check into it for you. We accept all major credit cards, cash or check. Please feel free to stop by our office and check out our new and improved store for all of your technology and day-to-day business needs.
Okay, our lethal layer base is done, so we're going to take that out. And this is what it looks like. So on top of that, I'm going to sprinkle a cup of pecan halves. Okay, now we're going to take a fourth measuring cup, and to that I'm going to put a half teaspoon of salt in the bottom of that. And then I'm going to put a teaspoon of baking powder. And then I'm going to fill the rest of it with flour. So it's level. We're going to beat the eggs, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of packed dark brown sugar. Okay, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to add our flour mixture to that. Okay, now this gets spread over the crust a little bit here. We're going to kind of try to get it to flow over the top of the entire base. If you do it gradually, it'll do the work for you, and then you won't wreck your crust. Okay, now over the top of this I'm going to sprinkle a cup of chips. I'm using semi-sweet, and you try to do them as evenly as possible. it looks like this. Then we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to bake it at 375 for 20 minutes. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes and pull out the muffins here. We'll check those and see how they're doing. I think they need another minute. So we'll just wait till we pull the muffins and we'll put those in. I'll take a break and clean up. I want to remind you one more time, if you want a copy of any of these recipes and you don't have internet, give the girls at Valley a call. They'd be happy to get you a copy. If you do have internet, go to the Valley homepage, click on the cow on the right, you'll find all the recipes there. We'll be right back.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
Okay, we're gonna pull everything out of the oven. These are the lethal layers. Okay. Normally, as always, we would probably wait just a little while for the bars to cool, but I'm going to cut a square here so that you can see what they look like. It kind of almost has a bit of a meringue topping, kind of a little bit of a pecan pie feel to it, but with the chocolate and everything, it's a nice combination. There we go. We have our onion Swiss steak, our party potatoes, our farmhouse cheddar muffins, and our lethal layers. Thank you for joining us today on this edition of Country Cooking, and we hope to see you next time.